Everyone, Christian here, and I don't know if I've done a review on this palm, but if I have, it hasn't been done in a pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a palm review, a potted palm review of Archontophoenix purpurea, also known as the Mount Lewis King Palm. Now, this may be the most popular of all the king palm, the Archontophoenix species. I'm sorry, the Archontophoenix genus, because of its color. Now you can see it's starting to get that down here at the bottom. Where's my finger? There it is. The purplish crown shaft is kind of starting. It gets kind of a bluish purple base, and it's quite nice looking. It also has silver undersides on the leaflets. Now it's hard to tell some species of Archontophoenix apart. All of them except for Cunninghamiana have silver on the undersides, and Purpurea is the only one with a different colored crown shaft than green, although Cunninghamiana has a very how can I say, a very dull looking crown, where the crowns of the other species are a little bit glossier and a little bit more bright lime, I guess you could say. But this one's going to be a little bit different. That's a natural color for the crown right there. So they call it the Mount Lewis King Palm because it grows near not the summit, but just on the hill, the foothills of Mount Lewis. And it actually doesn't prefer like a hot, humid tropical climate. It actually likes kind of a highland subtropical climate where it doesn't get frost, but it doesn't really get that hot either. So as a result, this palm actually doesn't do very well in Florida. I've seen it grown in some milder areas, like say near the coast, in central Florida and some parts of South Florida, that seems to do pretty well. But it doesn't look quite like it would, say, in California, where it's not as humid. And I mean, it can get hot, but they grow very well near the coast in Southern California. So one thing that you'll notice about this palm is that it does have a little bit more rigid leaflets. They're a little bit stiffer than, say, the other ones. They don't really flop as much. They kind of stay right where they are. Not going to just flop down out of nowhere. I mean, these are a little bit bent, but the leaflets are a little bit more closely spaced together, and they're more cupped than the other species as well. So all this coloring, all this spotting, you would say, on the petioles is pretty typical of Purpurea, and it isn't, and the problem is in Florida it's not going to be as thickly crown shafted of a palm, but in other areas like California and Hawaii, it will be a very nice, like, burly looking plant, where the other palms like Cunninghamiana won't necessarily look as nice. Especially here in Florida, we kind of just don't get Cunninghamiana. Actually looks a lot nicer in California as well, as opposed to Florida. So my view on it versus like say Californian or Hawaiian or Australian's view is going to be a little bit different. So one thing that's noticeable about this palm that you won't see here is that the seed is noticeably larger than every other species. And when you decide to purchase seeds, or you're going to grow this palm from seed, make sure that you get it from Australia or from a habitat where there's only Purpurea around. It hybridizes so freely with other species that you will not get a pure plant. It'll have some purple in it, but it'll grow really fast. These actually don't grow very fast compared to the other species as well. It's probably the slowest growing of all the species by far. I'd say, like, out of a 10, 1 to 10, it's probably like a 5, where most of the other species are going to be like a 7 to 8.5. So it grows at a moderate pace. It's not too slow, but it's not going to be nearly as it's not going to be nearly as fast as say Maxima or Alexandri. So one other thing we can note here is that this pale color on the base of the petiole is pretty notable for the species. You can see it's here, but you can see there's darker colors here coming through the middle of the petiole base. So that's going to be pretty typical of Purpurea. And it is a nice palm. It does take some cold. It'll take a lot of cool weather as well. It likes, right now it's about 65 out, and they were 65 to 75 all year long. This palm would love it here, but unfortunately it's not. In the summertime, we barely get below 75 for multiple months, so it's not quite as nice to have this palm down here, although it is so nice looking. And it is probably the most colorful of all of the Archontophoenix species. So, you know, this one's doing pretty well. This one is starting to show its first ring of trunk there. You can see it's in a nice, they like a nice rich media. All Archontophoenix seem to love water. And although other species like Alexandri, I said the Alexandri type, which would include Alexandri, Maxima, Myolensis, Tuckeri, those all kind of have the same growth requirements. Lots of sun, lots of water. You know, they grow real fast. Cunninghamiana and purpurea seem to like more shade, and especially purpurea seems to grow best in some shade almost its entire life, except for when it's really mature. It tends to pop out, and it's called an emerging canopy palm. So this one's probably for sale. I would have to ask the owner, but you're looking at a price, you know, like pure seeds are going to run about $1.50 each. This palm, it's in a bag. It's probably about 15 to 20 gallon bag. I'd say, I don't know, look to spend about $125 on a plant like this. They're a little bit more expensive because they grow a little bit more slowly. You might be able to get them cheaper, really depending. This is a decent sized plant. It's well grown. You can see how there's no stunting on the leaflets, and the crown shaft, at least for Florida, is quite nice looking. So you can see it almost it looks like it's almost shifted a little bit, and it does that when it first starts growing. It kind of gets its bearings, if you will. So anyway, I want to say that, yeah, it does take cold down to about, I would say, you know, it takes the 20s, the upper 20s pretty well. I'd say it's a definite solid zone 9B palm. You can try it in a colder climate, but I wouldn't recommend it, you know, it hitting like lower 20s on a regular basis. So anyway, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification. I do go live quite a bit and like to talk about palms when I'm driving, and other times as well. And if you have any questions about Archontophoenix purpurea, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll get back to the comments as soon as I can. I've been a little bit behind on comments, and I apologize in advance. So hopefully I can get to everybody, and I will see everyone later. Thanks for watching.